What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast as we continue to make our way through all 32 of the NFL season scripts that good old Roger Goodell sent us out of the kindness of his heart. Roger, you're a true gentleman. I hope you enjoy the videos, my friend. I have got the NFC East scripts here right in front of me, and I'm going to mix them up and randomly select one here. I'm just going to mix them. Who are we going to talk about today? Washington Commanders. Okay, before I get into them, I have to tell you guys what I think is going to happen with the Washington Commanders this year. I think they've set up a master plan, and if it all works out, I'm going to be impressed because it's going to be a nice setup for them. I think they are going to trade away all of their talent midseason. I think they're going to trot their poor quarterback out there for the whole season, whose name Sam Howell. Trot him out there all year and be really bad. They're going to fire Ron Rivera, they're going to promote Eric Bieniemy, and they're going to get Caleb Williams. That's what I think is going to happen. I hope Roger agrees. But let's go ahead and just dive right on into this video. Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to give a special shout out to today's sponsors, starting with Goldfine and Bowles, Lawyers for the Injured. Personal injury, workers' compensation, those are their two things. But any sort of legal advice, they're the people to call. Give them a phone call, 309-673-5144. Tell them we sent you, okay? And I'd also like to shout out SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video as well. Use promo code PlaybookSports on their website to get $20 off your first purchase of $30 or more. Let's get back to the video. So last year, kind of a weird year for the Commanders. I don't think anybody actually took them seriously, but they were quietly the worst team in the NFL of all the divisions, of all the fourth place teams in every single division. They had the best. They were 8-1, you guys. They finished at 500. That is half a game out of the playoffs in the AFC, and they were last place in the NFC East this season. They were in almost every game last year. Only four of their 8 losses were by single digits. But we all knew during the year, like, they're just not going to do it. They're not going to make it. They're not going to go far. They don't have the quarterback play. And, sometimes they put in Taylor Heineke and he'd show a spark, but it was just never enough. So will they be able to turn it around this year with Jacoby Brissett and Sam Howell and compete in what looks to be a wide open NFC? I will say, looking at this, it's interesting that they only have one primetime game all season. Not normally a good sign. Clearly the NFL doesn't think they're going to be very good. But let's dive into this thing. Week 1, they will host the Arizona Cardinals in what has to be a must-win game for them. Both of these teams are not going... Like, if you want to have a good season, you need to win this game. And they don't. They fall to 0-1 against the Arizona Cardinals, and that is a tone setter, folks. Because I'm looking at this, and I see a lot of losses. This is going to be tough. Week 2, they travel to Denver, and they're going to fall again as Denver is much improved. I do think Denver could be good this year. I think that if they... Average scoring offenses last year were about 24 points a game, a little more, give or take. They averaged about 16 to 17 points. I think Sean Payton's worth a touchdown. I think him and a revamped offensive line could be worth a touchdown, so maybe they may find themselves in the playoffs. Either way, at Denver, they're going to knock off this Commanders team. The Commanders don't stand a chance here. Week 3, similarly, they do not stand a chance against the Buffalo Bills. I don't care where they're playing. They could play this game in outer space. Give me the Bills by a touchdown on the moon. It doesn't matter. Bills knock off the Commanders. Commanders fall to 0-3 on the season. Week 4, at Philadelphia. No gimmies here, folks, as they get throttled by the Eagles in Philadelphia, and they fall to 0-4. Will it end? They have a chance here. Week 5, they host the Chicago Bears, who they played last year in a Thursday night football game, which is this year. We're running it back. I don't know why. It was such a bad football game to watch. I think the Commanders won it last year. Roger has them losing it this year, losing the ugly game because the Bears are improved at least, and I think the Commanders have definitely taken a step back. And Roger agrees. As the Bears knock off the Commanders 0-5. Week 6, they travel to Atlanta, who I think could be a sneaky pick to maybe win that division. And Atlanta wins, and they knock the Commanders off to 0-6. Yeah, I expected this. This is what I expect to see from the Commanders. I think most people will agree with me. Week 7, they travel to the New York Football Giants, and the New York Football Giants get the win, and the Commanders fall to 0-7 on the year. Guys, they may not win a game. Losing at home to the Bears is probably a game where they're hoping to get a win, but the Bears are definitely better than them. Uh-oh. we're starting to look at some trades here, as it looks like Washington is definitely trading pass rushers, Chase Young and Montez Sweat. They can't really move off of Terry McLaurin because they just paid him. They might be able to get a little something for him, but whoever takes him has to take that contract. If they can get value for somebody, they're going to get it now because this team is going nowhere, and they may as well just lose out and get the generational quarterback at the end of the year. I don't know if I already said this, but Week 8 they play the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's going to be another 20-point loss for them because the Eagles are just way better. I don't know how the Commanders beat them last year. Will not happen again this year, so they'll get swept by the Eagles. Week 9, they travel to New England, and definitely a winnable game here, but there's just no way Bill Belichick and that defense is going to give up any points to this Washington offense, and it looks like they don't, as the New England Patriots knock them off, and they fall to 0-9 on the season. And Week 10, they travel to Seattle, where once again, the Commanders will fall at the hands of a superior team and move to 0-10 on the season. I have not seen a bad start like this in a long time. And it doesn't get any better. They've got some tough ones coming up here. Week 11, they host the New York Giants. And maybe the New York Giants aren't on the same level as the Eagles and Cowboys, but they are a step above this Commanders team as they knock off the Commanders, and the Commanders will fall to 0-11 to start this season as fans are wearing brown paper bags over their heads to the games. Week 12, they travel to Dallas, travel to Jerry World, and they lose, and they fall to 0-12 on this season. At this point, pack up the bags, folks. It's over. Let's just call it a season. Thanks for showing up. We appreciate it. Commanders fans, I am so sorry. And Week 13, it doesn't get any easier as you host the Miami Dolphins, who will come into Washington and drop a 50-burger on you because your defense can't stop anybody. You traded away your good pieces. And they will fall to 0-13 on the year before mercifully getting a moral victory in their Week 14 bye to move to 0-13 still on paper, but we'll give it to them and move them to 1-13 just for grins. No. 0-13 going into Week 15 at Los Angeles, and it looks like we have a winner, folks. Yes! They do it. Washington goes into LA and beats the Rams and moves to 1-13. No more perfect season for Washington. That's awesome. Thank God they won a game. I was getting worried because they've got some tough... Their next 3 opponents are all really good, and they're not going to win any of these games, guys. They're not. Week 16 at the Jets. No chance. Loss. 1-14. Week 17 hosting the San Francisco 49ers. That's a loss as well. They're just not a good enough team. Their roster is just so depleted. They don't have the talent. I don't care if you're starting Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. I don't care if you're starting Sam Howell at quarterback. They're not the guy. You're looking at the guy. He's playing in Southern California in college right now. That's where you're going with all of this. And Week 18, you're going to try out the B team. Try out all the young guys. Try out the people you want to get a look at and see how they all play. And maybe you pull off a shocker and you beat Dallas like they did last year. I don't personally see it happening, and Roger doesn't either. As they lose and they fall to a final record of 1-16, without a doubt the worst team in the NFL this season, securing the number 1 overall pick. Kind of like I said at the beginning of I've been saying it for months. Since maybe January, I've been saying that's what they're doing. Bieniemy's going to get that job, and it looks like that's what they're going for. I am so sorry, Commanders fans. All I do every single offseason is look forward to football coming back. And if my team comes back and rattles off a 1-16 season, I am just devastated. Devastated. At least they won one. I could see an argument for 0-17. Honest to God, I could. All of their easy games are on the road. Like the teams where they're comparable in talent, it's at the other team's place. At least they go in and beat the Rams and get it. I could see Commanders winning Week 1 maybe, so I might give them that win as well. And either way, though, 1 win or 2 wins, they're locking up that number 1 overall pick, and they're going to go ahead, and here we go. Pick number 1 overall, and they're going to promote Eric Bieniemy to head coach, and they're going to draft Caleb Williams, who is this next generational type of prospect. Hopefully, Commanders fans, that's enough for you guys to tide you over. Just know that you may have just gotten the next guy in the NFL. I was listening to Colin Cowherd this morning, and he said he thinks Caleb Williams is better than 75% of starting quarterbacks in the NFL today. Not in a year when he's drafted. today. So take that for what it's worth. Hopefully you can take it and run with it. That's all I've got for you guys on the Washington Commanders season script. Make sure you follow all of our socials at the Playbook Sports Pod on Twitter, right at Playbook Sports Pod. Yeah, I think it's that. I think that's it. And at Playbook_sports on TikTok. Make sure you follow along as Colin is making his way to 500 bets in the calendar year of 2023. Thanks for stopping in, guys, and we'll see you all in the next one.